Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim, a fairly average mum, and today I thought I'd film another Get Ready With Me story time. So let's get cracking. Hiya. So I hope you're all okay. I'm feeling okay. I haven't spoken today, which is why my voice is a little bit croaky. Right. It's one of the things about living on your own. When I'm coming on camera, I realise I haven't spoken at all today, right? So that's why it's a bit croaky. But I went to see my daughter yesterday. We had a lovely day. We just went, she wanted to get some bits because she's moved into a new flat. So she phoned me and said that she was going to, she was walking up near to where I live. Did I want to go with her? Yes, definitely. And we had a lovely day. We just walked around B&M. I didn't buy anything because, to be honest, I don't get paid till next week. So, but I made a mental list of everything that I am going to buy when I go down there. Went there and went to Lidl, then went back to hers. My son phoned, so we had a really nice day. But she'd been to Whitby last weekend and bought me this, God love her, right? Toffee and fudge. She wanted to get me a big thing of just fudge because I absolutely love fudge, but she said the biggest one had toffee in it as well. Like, you know, that's not a problem at all, right? So I'm going to open that at some point and have a few out of there. But this is what inspired this Get Ready With Me story time, because we started talking about some stories about when we'd gone on holiday and things like that when my kids were little. So I thought I'd share them with you. So I'm going to put my makeup on while I do this because I'm going to meet my daughter later on. We're going for a curry and things. So great. I'm super excited about it. So I better resurrect my face. It's slightly pink today because when I went out yesterday, I didn't have any makeup on or sunblock. And it was so warm. I think I've caught a bit of sun on my face. And goodness knows, my face is shocking anyway, right? So let me start putting this makeup on and I'll tell you my story. So first I'm going to use this Avant. I'm trying to use this one up because I'm aware I've had it for quite a while and I want to get it used because it's a nice one. I got it in one of my beauty subscription boxes. It looks vaguely snotty, but it's actually really nice on your skin. I don't know what it's called. Pink Orchid Hyaluronic Glycerin with white pea in it. It smells really nice and it does your face a world of good. And also, because it's so pricey, I'm not very, very unlikely to rebuy it. You know what I mean? I'm just using up the ones that I get in my beauty subscription boxes, like Glossy Box, Birch Box, Rocker Box, and Look Incredible. So I washed my hands before I came on anyway. Let me whack a load of this on. Okay, so the first story I want to tell you is about Whitby. Right, so when I was, this is when I was still married, right? So me and my husband had decided that we'd go away for a few days. We were skin, and I do mean we were absolutely skin pinkling. I was pregnant with me second child with Dean, and we'd already got our Jake, who were only a tiny tot. He was less than a year old, I think, at this point. I was about 5 or 6 months pregnant. All we could afford, and I'll be honest about it, me mother-in-law had given us some money so that we could get away for a few days. So what we could afford was to go to Whitby for 3 nights, right? And it was the first holiday that my son had ever been on. So it was the first time he'd ever seen the sand or anything. So because we'd got a pram, a little baby, and I'm heavily pregnant, we phoned in advance and tried to book a hotel to stay in. Not an expensive one. It wasn't like an expensive hotel. But because I knew I was going to be struggling, you know, sort of walking distances. And I don't know if you've ever been to Whitby. It's like that, all right? There's hills everywhere in Whitby. Right, what am I putting on next? Okay, I've got my water egg. I don't know where I got this from. I suspect I got it in a gift box from B&M actually. After Christmas it were in sale. And the only foundation that's going to match at the moment is this Primark one. I'm going to have to get myself some more foundations, I really am. But this sort of semi-matches my skin at the moment, so we'll go with this. So anyway, we'd phoned up in advance and asked these people who seemed really nice on phone. They really did. A lovely lady answered the phone. Have I even got a mirror? No, have I? Because, like, let me grab a mirror. Sit down, right. So I'm going to use it. It's a lid of one of my palettes, but it broke because I dropped it. So I've still got some on my nose. Goodness me. Right, so I'm going to use this water egg and this foundation. Anyway, we phoned and we spoke to these people. This lovely lady answered the phone. It was her hotel and what have you. And I explained the situation and said, look, I'm heavily pregnant. I've got this baby. We'd like to book 3 nights. Is there any chance we can have a ground floor room? Okay. So she said, yeah, no problem. You know, if it's not ground floor, it'll be first floor. They didn't have any lifts or anything like that in this hotel because it was just like a little B&B thing, you know. It wasn't like massive, but it was very high, right? It had like 4 or 5 floors on it anyway, right? So we thought we'd prepped and everything. We've got a pram, this baby, everything. So we got there and obviously we're on the ground floor and we all had a nice time. No, right, we got there, right? The lady said that she'd actually, the only place she'd been able to put a cot in this hotel, the only room that she'd been able to put a cot, were on the top floor. Oh my days. I were absolutely exhausted. Just walking up there on the first, after we'd arrived the first day, because my husband had a car, so we'd driven there and what have you. But just getting up there on the first day, I were absolutely shattered. I had to like have a lie down on the bed because I was so, I'd had to carry the pram, my husband carried the baby, and I got like, we're trying to get up the stairs and stuff. There were nowhere to store your pram downstairs. Oh my goodness. Honestly, it was one of the hardest holidays I've ever had. When I got back, I needed another rest. Because in order to get to the beach, I counted them, 69 steps, right, okay, just to get down to the beach. That were bad enough going down the way, but coming back up again were an absolute blinking nightmare. It was so bad. I were absolutely exhausted. You know what it's like when you're pregnant and you know, the slightest thing makes you tired. Well, carrying a baby, a pram, and a bag of nappies and everything else, it was just the hardest thing. Just to get down to the beach. I think we only went sort of 3 times to the beach, and the rest of the time, I was just lying in the hotel room. I were absolutely exhausted. So, with hindsight, what we should have said is, no, we can't do this, and gone and found another hotel, and I'd certainly do that now. But when you're young, you know, you think you're committed and stuff. You know, I've committed myself to going to this hotel room. Goodness me. And my son absolutely loved it, though. Absolutely loved the sand. Really, really loved it. I think it were after that I decided I would find my own places in future. And that's when we started going to Great Yarmouth. Because I'd gone there as a child and I knew it was nice and flat. So the first holiday that I was separated from my husband at this point, because we separated a few times when I were having my kids and stuff. But anyway, I think that's gonna have to do. Is that okay? It'll have to do. It's quite heavy coverage, this or full coverage, this foundation. With hindsight, I might get myself one from Primark that's a bit lighter coverage next time. But anyway, it'll have to do. Right, so I'm going to try and use a little bit of this, which I actually got from Amazon. And I've been after getting one for ages, but I've never used it. So I'm going to try and correct some of the colour under here. Now, I've seen people put this on before foundation, but I've decided that because I'm only putting a tiny bit on, I'm going to try and put it on over the top of my foundation, which is what I've seen 1 or 2 people do. So I'm just going to put it on with my finger. I'm using the purpley one here. And I'm going to try and correct some of the colour. But I'm literally putting a tiny bit. Wow, you only need a tiny bit and all. Goodness me, I might have to cover this with foundation afterwards because this is quite purple. Yeah, it is very, very purple. But hopefully it'll cover my bags up a bit, you know what I mean? Right. Oh dear. So after that, I decided I was going to take my kids on holiday to Great Yarmouth or to Hemsby, which is where we used to go. So I'm going to have to cover this because it is very purple, look. I'll dab over a little bit. So the first time I ever took them, the trains were supposed to be, I had to get to Leeds and then get a train from Leeds to Peterborough. And then there was supposed to be a train that ran straight from Peterborough all the way to Great Yarmouth. So I go on my own. By this time I'm pregnant with my third child and I've got these two tiny tots because my kids are very close together in age. So I've got these two tiny tots and a double buggy and me bag of, my suitcase of stuff. So we set off, right? My brother, God love him, came with us on the train to help me out to get to Leeds, right? And then I would go ahead from there and he came back, right? So I'm thinking, I don't know what I was thinking, but I felt like I was 10 men. I can tackle out me, right? Okay. So what am I going to put on next? Next, I'm going to use this pinky blush, which is from KVD. I really like it. And I've deliberately chosen a pinky one because I've got a pinky highlighter as well. So this is it. And I'm using this brush that I definitely got in that set from B&M. It's got a bit of fluff on it though, goodness me. Right, okay, let's use a bit of this. Tap some of it off so I don't end up looking like I've got a bright red face. Okay, so we set off. So it were absolutely exhausting. So on the train from Leeds to Peterborough, I asked the guy, the conductor going around, is there any way possible I can get some help getting off this train with all these kiddies in Peterborough? He said, yeah, no problem, I'm going to ring out, but don't leave your seat, right? Because if you leave your seat, I'm going to tell them where you are. If you leave your seat, they won't know it's you. Right, so when we're pulling to Peterborough, don't get up out of your seat. So anyway, the lady across from me who had a laptop, which were like quite unusual then, I took it, she were like, working, doing, it was like a businesswoman. She were really nicely dressed and stuff. And we'd taken the regulation soggy sandwiches, which is what we did every year. I used to make sandwiches on a morning, right? By the time you'd got halfway there, just to keep the kids going and for a bit of fun, the sandwiches were soggy as all, right, from salad and bits and pieces that were in them. But, we did it every year and they did like the soggy sandwiches. It were a bit of fun, and we used to laugh at them. Anyway, we're pulling to Peterborough. And this lady has obviously heard this conductor saying this thing to me. So we're sitting there, but everybody's getting off and nobody were getting on at first. No sort of person working there were getting on. And then all the other people who were like boarding the train started getting on. And I look over at this woman, she looks over at me and she said, nobody's coming. Right, and I thought, oh my God, they're not. And this train is like now boarding. It's going to pull out with me and my kids on it, right? Then we had a connecting train to get. So she went, you get your kids, I'll get your stuff. So God love her. And if, I have no idea if that lady even remembers it, or the chances of her watching this are almost none. But I have to say, God love her. She really helped me out that day because there were no way I was going to get off that train otherwise. She gets me stuff and she's barging through, let this lady through, right? And got me off the train. So I have to go over 2 platforms to get onto the next train. No lift is working. So I had to take my kids and get them up sort of a few steps, then drag all my stuff up. Because this lady had to go get back on the train because obviously she wasn't leaving at that point. I'm stuck on my own, trying to get up all these steps with my kids. Don't leave my kids anywhere, don't leave my stuff anywhere. So I'm doing 3 steps at a time, taking everything with me. And I'm 5, 6 months pregnant at this point as well. I eventually got onto the little bridge going across and then managed to get across it with everybody. The kids are like toddling along and stuff. We walk along there, I'm dragging the suitcase, on wheels and carrying the double buggy. And then we got down and finally managed to make it onto this train. The guy actually waited because he could see me coming down the stairs until we got on it, and then the train pulled out. So by this point, I'm absolutely exhausted. Exhausted, right? It had been really stressful. So I think I'm sitting there on this train and I think, right, this train is going all the way to Great Yarmouth. I don't have to worry anymore. Or somebody's messaging me. All right, okay. So it's my daughter. My youngest daughter. Right, so okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. I only want it light because my face is red anyway. Right, so next I'm going to use this Revolution highlighter. I love Revolution highlighters. I just think they're so nice. This is really, really pretty. Let me show you. It's a pinky sort of colour. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to use a bit of this anyway. So we get on the train. My kids are absolutely shattered as well. And I'm using the same brush. Do you know that? Because I didn't get another brush. Okay, so so they start falling asleep on the train, and so I took the shoes off, you know, so they could sleep comfortably. Because I'm thinking we don't actually have to get off this train for ages, and when we get off, we just have to get a taxi to Hemsby from Great Yarmouth. That's what I'd planned to do. Anyway, so I let them take the shoes off, fall asleep. They're both in my lap, you know, falling asleep. I'm absolutely shattered. The train pulls into, I'm using this bit that I put on my finger. The train pulls into Norwich, and the guy starts walking down telling everybody, we have to get off, we have to catch another train. Now, kids have no shoes on, both of them are asleep. Again, absolute panic, right? Absolute panic. So I'm quickly putting my kids' shoes on, trying to wake them up. We eventually get off the train. I put them in the buggy and managed to get across to where this Great Yarmouth train was. Thankfully, it wasn't in straight away and we had to wait a little bit because my kids, I just don't think, could have taken anymore. And to be honest, neither could I. We're absolutely exhausted. Anyway, by the time we got to Hemsby, excuse me, coughing, I just sat and cried for about 20 minutes, right? I was so shattered. Absolutely shattered. All we did for the rest of that day was go out, get something to eat so at the supermarket, come back again, and I just fed my kids and everybody went to bed. We were so tired. We did have a lovely holiday after that, and we met this couple who every year we used to see them. They were called Pete and Diane. And they ran the beach cafe at Hemsby. If they are watching this or anybody knows them, hi to Pete and Diane, because they were so lovely to me and my kids. It was the first year they'd taken over the beach cafe, with that year when I arrived. And I used to take my kids in either for a snack in the morning or for the dinner, depending on how long we'd sat on the beach. Every single day, they were so lovely to us. They helped me out so much. They'd help me get the kids into high chairs. They'd bring kiddie portions of stuff over. Anything I bought, they'd just do anything for you. And they were so lovely, and my kids absolutely loved them. It were part of the holiday, seeing Pete and Diane every year. And God love them, it were a great holiday. It really was. It were lovely. On the way back, I were more prepared for what I were actually going to deal with, you know, going back. And also, my mum had come for the second week of that holiday because she couldn't get off work for the first week. So she came and met us, so there were the two of us to get everybody back. But I'll tell you what, on that first day, I wish I'd never gone. Right? I really wished I'd never gone. Oh my goodness. It was so bad, that journey. I just can remember just thinking, how am I ever going to get there, you know? Right, okay, that's going to have to do for a bit of highlighter. So I'm going to put some eyebrows on with this W7 Twist and Shape. I've got hair in my face. Okay, so I'm going to try and draw my eyebrows on. I'm not overly fond on this, but it'll do. You know, it's okay. I'm trying to use up some of my products. So, and this is one I've had for a bit. So I'm going to try and use a bit of it anyway. So every year or every couple of years when I could afford it, did I take my kids to Hemsby. And as they got older, it were a whole load easier to get in there because obviously everybody were walking. I wasn't pregnant. So, oh my goodness, this is a bit dark. That's very dark. Let's try and use it anyway. Put it on a bit lighter, Kim. I don't suppose it has to be good. It just has to darken up my eyebrows. Yeah, that's going to have to do. I'll sort it out afterwards. I'll find an eyebrow brush and try and brush it out. So I thought I'd tell you about this one day when we went to the marina at Great Yarmouth. Okay, so we go to the marina, which is, we used to have like day trips because I used to take them for a fortnight, my kids, to Emsby. And a couple of days during that holiday, we'd go catch a bus into Great Yarmouth. It were great, honestly. The first year when I went with kids, I found the marina because I didn't know it were there. It wasn't like I discovered it. It wasn't like under a stone or something. But anyway, we used to go to the marina and it were great. You'd go swimming. I'd take my kids swimming, which were great for me. It's great when you're pregnant, isn't it, swimming? So I'd take my kids swimming, and then there was like this soft ball pool area and things. So I'd book them into that as well. We'd have a bit of dinner at the marina and then come home, go back to Hemsby. And it was like a nice trip out. We'd have a walk around the shops. There were different shops. My kids loved it, honestly, absolutely loved it. They always took spending money, and they'd find stuff to spend or to buy in Great Yarmouth that they just didn't have in Emsby, So this one time, I'd done this every year, took them to the marina, and we had a lovely time there. It was a great pool, it was good for swimming. They've got a wave machine. As the kids got older, it was fantastic, right? Absolutely fantastic. That's going to have to do, guys. I don't even know if they're sort of okay. Yeah, I can't tell. But I've got bigger problems than the eyebrows, honestly. All right, so I'm going to use this. I'll just throw everything on the floor. This iconic London palette that I got. It's got a mirror in it as well. It's really nice. I got this in a beauty subscription box as well. Look at it. It's really pretty. There's loads of stuff in it, but I don't know what colours I'm going to use. I might use this Summer Loving, which is a matte one there, and Ibiza Nights. So going for a pink look altogether. Sorry, just dropped my brush. I've still got a bit of cough from the illness, so please forgive me. Anyway, let's use this lighter colour on this brush. I don't know where I got this brush. What's it say? HG crease. That's good because I'm using it in me. Oh, I'm not actually. I'm just going to use it all over my lid. Anyway, right, okay. So this one time, kids are dead excited. We go to the marina. All right, so we go, I pay in, everybody gets changed. We're in the pool having an amazing time, right? With the waves, I'm holding my littlest one up. They didn't have the wave machine all the time. I think it was every half hour they'd turn it on. We were having a great time, an absolutely great time. And then at some point, we get told we've got to get out the pool. Everybody get out the pool, right? So we all did. Imagine there's a whole swimming pool of people standing on the side trying to work out what's going on, right? Turns out a baby had pooed in the baby section of the pool. But the thing is, the whole pool were like sort of connected. So anything that had gone in there had basically contaminated the whole water. So as we're trying to work this out, and we worked it out because these people were going in with, I'm not even joking you, sieves, right? Sieves, like nylon sieves, going round in boots and stuff. They had like welly boot things on, wader things, in this pool, and they're like gathering up the poo that was in the pool, right? So we were laughing our heads off. You can imagine my kids by this point are sort of late, 10 and up to teenagers. We were laughing our heads off and we're fascinated watching this going on, right? Absolutely fascinated. And so we're like discussing, like let's get out. We're not getting back in there. I'm not getting back in if there's poo in it, right? Okay. So, but we're still fascinated watching it. Meanwhile, everybody else that's cottoned on to what's happening, I'm putting this darker thing in my crease, right? And I'll try and blend it out with a clean brush because I've forgotten to change my brush, which is part of the course for me. But everybody else that was standing there were like, I wish they'd hurry up. I wish they'd hurry up so we can get back in. Right, I'm getting cold. I wish they'd hurry up. Me and the kids are looking at each other like, you want to get back in? You want to get back in to this pooey water? Now, I get there's chlorine and stuff in it, but we were absolutely fascinated. We were all looking at each other and looking around at these people who were desperate to get back in this water that a child had pooed in, right? It's literally had a full-on poo in this water. And all that were happening were these people were sieving it out. So you can imagine there's still going to be remnants of that in the water. You know what it's like when you're swimming? You get mouthfuls of water, don't you? You know what I mean? How have I got pink, bright pink in the corner? Oh my days, what a mess I'm making of this. No, I don't like this. I just look like I've been punched in my eyes. I'm going to have to use something slightly darker. I'm going to use this after party one here. Here. I'm going to try a bit of that and see whether I can darken it up a bit. They were literally waiting to get back in the pool. I mean, the kids were fascinated, honestly. So we decided we're not, like, it was funny enough standing there, like, listening to everybody, but we'd had our fun now. We're getting out. So we got out and I had to go to the counter because I'd booked to go into this soft play area for the younger ones. And, but obviously it were earlier than we'd anticipated because we'd had to get out because there were a poo in the water. So the woman said to us, we'll refund you money for it. So I had to give me details and stuff. Went out to the soft play area and we could see, right, people, honestly, people are still in the pool, right? People have now got back into the pooey pool, if you see what I mean, and are now swimming, right, back in this water. That is communal water. I get sometimes people wee in the pool. But if you know there's a full-on poo in there, are you really going to want to swim in it? They did. People got back in and just got on with swimming. It were crackers. Absolutely crackers. Right, I don't like this eye makeup that I've put on. But I've got this tiny little brush here and I'm going to try and blend it out at the edges a little bit. See whether I can get it to work a little bit better. Yeah, I don't like this. I won't be using this colour combo again. But anyway, yeah, that was the pooey pool experience. Oh my goodness. Right, I've sort of slightly blended it out. But it does remind me of when me and my sister were young. We used to go to the swimming baths just along the road here. And we used to have a lovely time. It was like every Sunday. And we'd save our pocket money so that we could go. And we'd... It was so busy at that time. I'm just going to show you what mascara I'm using. I'm using this little tiny deluxe mini thing, which is the Too Faced Better Than SEX. I can say it. I'm not inhibited, but I just don't want to on YouTube. You know, I've no idea what might happen to me if I say it. Anyway, I'm going to use this. It's got a really fluffy brush, but the problem is it's so small I could end up probably stabbing myself in the eye. So me and my sister used to go to this swimming pool and it was so busy at that time that you used to get a limited amount of time. They'd give you like this rubber band thing to put around your ankle or your wrist. And they were colour coordinated, right? So that at some point somebody would blow a whistle at the side of the pool. And if you had, say, green, they'd say, everybody with green bands, your time's up, out you get, right? Me and my sister wanted to spend as long as we could there. Absolutely ages. I'm covered in makeup on my leg. Just realised, right? Oh, goodness. Right, we wanted to spend as long as possible. So we used to take it in turns. We'd get out, get our clothes. One of us would get dressed and we would take it in turns. Run out to the entrance and pay in again so that we could go back into the pool and have another hour or so swimming. And we'd do that every single time did we go swimming. So and then when we'd finished swimming, having spent maybe 3 hours in the pool, completely wrinkled up and everything, we used to take these little sachets that we used to buy at the local shop of shampoo so we could wash our hair when we got out and everything. Anyway, when we got out, we'd go up to the cafe. And it were always the same sort of plan. We'd either, depending on what money we'd got left, if we could afford it, we'd buy an hot dog, right? if we couldn't afford it, we'd buy, oh my goodness, what are they called? Mini cheddars, little bags of mini cheddars, right? And we'd get some pop and we'd go sit on the balcony looking down at, you know, watching everybody else swimming, you know, as we were having were snacks and stuff. I don't think you were allowed to take hot dogs along there, but you were allowed to take your mini cheddars. So this one day, me and my sister, having been diving in the pool and doing all sorts of stuff, and I'll just say, thank goodness we had washed our hair, right? So we get out and we're sitting next to the diving pool, watching everybody diving in the water. All of a sudden, my sister says to me, what's that at the bottom of the pool? Right. So we started looking and we realised there is a full-on poo at the bottom of the diving pool that we've been jumping off boards and everything, right? Now, whether that had just arrived after we got out, I have no idea. But it were definitely, we're lying on the bottom, right, of the swimming pool. It were definitely a poo, right? So me and my sister are like, oh my God, right, we've been in there. So we start laughing and we're trying like to stop laughing, but my sister said we should tell someone, right? More sensible than me, because we're still seeing people jumping in the pool and everything. And back in those days, right now when you go to a swimming pool, there's usually somebody sitting on the side. Then you'd have sort of random lifeguardy people walking around, but you know, they weren't permanently watching the pool. It were a lot more laid back then, you know what I mean? And probably quite dangerous. Anyway, that mascara is going to have to do, and I've realised I haven't got a lippy. Let me grab one. I'm tiptoeing through the tulips because I've still got stuff on the floor from my last haul. Anyway, right, I'm going to use this. It's got stuff on the outside, but I'm going to use this Duce one. I really like Duce. I've not bought any, but I got a beauty subscription box from Voucher that were, goodness me, I think it was the cohorted one, and it had a load of makeup in it by Duce. Honestly, I absolutely love it. So anyway, it's this colour. You can tell I've used it quite a bit, so I'll stick a bit of this on. Try and darken up my mouth so it distracts you or detracts from this eye makeup that I'm not entirely happy with. Anyway, right, so my sister said, we better tell somebody. We've got to tell somebody. So we'll wait till some random sort of lifeguard is walking about, and my sister shouts down, goes to the balcony edge. How have I got that right the way under my lip? Look at that. Goodness me. Try and blend it. It's what happens when you're talking and try to put your lippy on at the same time. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, right, and I've got pink eyeshadow right in there. Goodness me. Anyway, right, so eventually this lifeguard comes walking past next to where we are by the balcony. So my sister leans over, said something to him. He turns round and looks, right, and it was obvious what it was. Really, really obvious. And so he goes and gets somebody else. Meanwhile, everybody's still diving in the pool and doing whatever they're doing. So he goes and gets somebody else, and then they blow a whistle, everybody out, right? We felt slightly bad that we'd spoiled everybody's fun, but given the circumstances, we thought they really would not have wanted to be jumping in the pool with a full-on poo. It were definitely an adult poo as well. I'm sorry to go into so much detail, but we're a full-on massive one. This one, a baby poo. And babies don't go into the diving pool in any case. But yeah, everybody had to get out and they had to like drain or clean the pool, or maybe they just went in with a sieve. Who knows? I've no idea. I wouldn't have believed that people just sieved it out and then opened the pool again. They did, at Great Yarmouth, they did test the water. So they got some water out in a little thing and put something in it. But still, honestly, poos and pools, I don't know. Right, so this is going to have to do for my makeup. My lipstick's shocking. All right, I've got it everywhere. My eyeshadow's shocking. You know what I mean? So's my face. So we're just rolling with it. Let's roll with it. I'll go away and do my hair and try and sort it out. Make it look not quite so bad. But anyway, those are all my stories for today. Sorry, it's been quite graphic, poos in pools and things, but they were funny experiences at the time. Well, obviously they were, because I still remember them to this day. But anyway, that's everything for today. If you've liked this video, please give us a like. It really helps us out. And if you like this kind of content, you might want to consider subscribing. I've left all my contact details in the description box just in case you want to contact me for any reason. But thank you very much for taking a few moments out of your day to spend with me. Bye!